where we go then, ladies and gentlemen, our final race of what is this fine Saturday afternoon. It is, of course, the Junior Saloon Car Championship, the JSCC. Now, we should point out there are 4 races of the JSCC this weekend. We've got 3 tomorrow, which were the originally scheduled races, but we've also squeezed in a 4th one because this is was the abandoned round 6 from Brands Hatch Indy, and this is how the grid will line up because these are the qualifying positions from that race. What was the best part of 2 months ago? Josh Salvadore lines up on pole position ahead of Wilf Butler. They line up together ahead of Luca Maserati, who starts 3rd. Carl Wells is in 4th ahead of Oliver Kerr, and then we do have Ollie Smith completing the front 3 rows. On row number 4, it's going to be Lewis Stannard ahead of Max Scharfegger, and then we do have Lewis Austin and what is Matthew Swatton completing your top 10. All of our drivers, of course, in Citroen Saxo VTRs, very closely controlled here, and this is all about mastering the art of what is a very lightweight and fast machine. But your top 10 there, absolutely packed full of brilliant drivers, and of course, what is your pole sitter is your 3rd place driver in the championship coming into this round, and Luca Maserati, meanwhile, your championship leader, starting 3rd. Further on back, we do have starting was 11th, Martin right there, the scholarship winner, I do believe, coming into this year, starting 11th. Leon Holly joining alongside there in 12th, ahead of what is Sherry Ann Powell, who starts off our 7th row in the company of Joe Wood. On 15th will be the youngster Tom Algar, and you'll remember I said watch out for multiple generations of racers because he is the grandson of the Algar member of the family that we did see in track action only a couple of races ago. Timothy Leonard, who we heard from, starts 16th there, and then Lexi Powell completes your running order of 17 drivers here for what is their first race of this weekend, or their rescheduled race from Brands Hatch, if you will, albeit we can't transport Brands Hatch up to Northamptonshire, but we can bring the racing spirit from Brands Hatch, and as all the drivers have made their way onto the grid, I do believe they're already in position, and they have been given the countdown board, so you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. For the final time today, it does mean we've got more racing to get underway, and it is to our Junior Saloon Car Championship drivers there as they get in position. We may have a warm-up lap, to be fair. Perhaps I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but let's wait and see. And, well, as they all sit there, we will find out very shortly. And I believe they have been given the countdown board there, unless I'm mistaken, from our marshal up in the gantry. Well, no, it is their formation up there. Getting a little bit ahead of myself. I do apologise. I'm just so eager to see what is the racing here for what is all these drivers. And to talk a little bit about this championship in the fact that all the drivers you see here are aged between 14 and 17 years old. Now, have a think to yourself, what were you doing when you were between the ages of 14 and 17? Were you racing at Citroen Saxos? I can tell you, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't doing anything like this. I hadn't even learned how, or started to learn how to drive in a car until I was 19 years old. So the fact they're all out there right now, and this is their way to step from karting into car racing. Now, this championship is in its 11th year. It started in 2014, the first ever champion being James Dorlin, and look at what he's gone on to do. He's gone on to race in Porsche Sprint Challenge GB, British GT, and it's now on the 2025 BTCC grid with Toyota Gazoo Racing. So he's gone all the way to one of the highest tiers in British motorsport, and it all started at what was this championship in the Junior Saloon Car Championship, the JSCC. And there are 3 championships contested over the course of the year. You have the overall championship, which everybody's competing for. You also have the rookie championship, which is for any driver who is new to the grid. And you have the independent championship, because some drivers race as part of official teams, others race as independents or privateers, as they're also known. And with regards to the rookies, the leading rookie is Ollie Smith. Meanwhile, your leading independent is Oliver Kerr. They're very close to the battle for 5th place in the overall championship as well. So therefore, it's all to play for around here. And we'll talk tomorrow about what their regular format of the weekend is, but just keep in mind this is a bit of a special race for them because this is the carryover race from Brands Hatch, what was all the way back on Sunday the 20th of April. But we've brought the clock forward by the best part of a month and a half. Well, in fact, the best part of a month there, as I can't count my days. I'm definitely out of sync with my calendar. And well, as we do see there, a bit of weave from side to side for the number 26 driver there of Austin, getting himself all set and ready to go is Lewis Austin. Well, they're all absolutely itching, and well, they've had some great racing so far this season. We're going to see plenty more of it. I think a few drivers did have a few words said to them at what was Thruxton after a few major incidents between them all, particularly at the chicane. But I think they've all calmed it down here today, and we'll see very shortly as they all get into position there. A marshal step aside, they get them all to line up, and well, then the countdown board will go on, and they'll be looking to the lights for 15 minutes of racing action for race number 8 of this fine Saturday afternoon. Now the engine's revved, they've been given the 5-second warning, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an absolute roaring score of Citroen Saxo VTRs, as it is going to be lights out, away we go for our JSCC Championship round, and as they make their way down towards turn number 1, it's a great start there from Polson to Salvador, as he leads on down, but it's going to be side by side between himself and Wolf Butler, who gets a better run in towards the braking zone. Everyone's safely off the line as they make the way around now. Will we see any changes? We do see was the last car there of the 333 of Powell getting a better run, a slow running car there in fact, on what's the exit of the corner. I wonder if somebody's encountered an issue. Couldn't quite see how that was, but our leaders battling here 2 by 2. They come in towards Maggot's corner. Brilliant battling between them. A bit of a lock up there from Wild Drives further on down. I think that's our 7th place runner there of what was standard, and was they come through 3 wide on the corner exit. And these Saxos, they're going to be very lightweight, and therefore they can be thrown around the corners, but they're front engine front wheel drive, so therefore they've got to get those front tyres up to temperature and manage them over the distance. But here they come down in towards what we turn number 3. And onto the brakes they go at Seldai right now, being looked at around the outside by Wolf Butler. Butler has a huge slide. There's a huge amount of oversteer from letting the rear of the car go. The front way to go one way, the rear way to go another way. He falls down to 3rd place, as that is going to be a move up the inside from Luca Maserati. And as they come out of that right hander, we're right now absolutely roaring on through and towards the end of the opening lap. It's been an absolutely tight opening lap, but there's plenty more to come, as we do see Smith there being closely chased by the number 10 as they roar away through the number 19 of standard. In fact, well, after one lap, it is going to be Salvador who leads, ahead of Wells, followed by Butler, then Maserati, who's dropped down to 4th place, Smith in 5th, ahead of standard, then it's Austin, Schoffiger, Swatton and Wright completing your top 10. Out the corner you got a couple of drives there opting to run very wide, and well, they'll get away with it once or twice, but they won't get away with it thrice. And as they come on towards what we turn number 2 this time, will there be a change between them? Well, it's going to be 2 wide in the battle there for 2nd. Wells and Butler absolutely going hammer and tongs between them as they come through the right hander, and well, I believe that is going to be Butler back up into 2nd for a brief moment, as a couple of drives run very deep there, experimenting in just how deep they can go through the corners. And we'll head up towards what will be at turn number 3 this time, where the leader of Salvador is breaking away gradually, the gap starting to open up, albeit further back. That fight for 2nd right now is going to take centre stage, I would imagine, as I look up the inside there for a brief moment from what was, I believe that was Smith on the back of Maserati, but as we see Wells and Butler still side by side. Now they're going to do the entire lap 2 wide around here. I don't know if that's the script or what, but it's definitely not scripted here in the fact they're trying to come through together, and it is Butler who does get ahead. He's up into 2nd. We're coming out the corner then and on towards what will be their 3rd turn of the circuit. Well, right now everybody falls into line of stern formation for now, as we do see there the number 27 of Swatton being chased down by Wright, and Wright having a decent start to the race, making up a place early doors, and therefore trying to push a little bit further forward as they come through the right-hander in towards Cox Bend then, and out this time they go. The 46 there bouncing over the apex curve of West Cox. That's Maserati still pushing on. He does have Smith keeping him in close company, but these leaders right now separated by literally what is half a second from car to car, and the only car that's the exception is your race leader overall. At Salvador just gradually pulling away here as he tries to put a little bit more distance. But coming out to turn number 2 then, well, right now everyone seems to have calmed down, and with the calming down, I think they've all got what is their sensible heads back on here, which is, you know what, we've got a race leader, he's pulling away gradually, and nobody wants to let Salvador run away, given the fact that, keeping in mind that Luca Maserati, Wolf Butler and Josh and Salvador have already dominated the podium finishing position so far this season. But Luca Maserati is the man to watch out for, currently running in 4th in the fact he has yet to miss a podium this season. He has finished on the podium in every single race. There's a big movement there, and a move being made. I believe that is Swatton fending off Wright for 9th place at this time, and we're under a lot of pressure as Wright still trying to look for an opportunity. It's Martin Wright as they come out of the corner. And onto the start-finish straight, well, there's going to be what is a run, nose to tail between them for now, as Swatton hold on to that position, but I would imagine it's going to be a question of when, not if, Wright's going to look for another opportunity here, as the JSCC machines roar their way in towards turn number 1, and, well, there's batting up and down the field. We are starting to see a bit of a split in the field, the top 9 all running close together, and then you've got a 2.5 second gap to what is the next pack, which is the Swatton Wright Holly pack, and then you've got what is Powell close onto the back of that, and then Wood as well. So in fact, everyone coming together, and well, the leader here in the Lightning McQueen machine at Salvador right now, well, it's a very distinctive car, and well, Butler is right there with Salvador, absolutely managing this race, I'd imagine, but Butler is going to push him every step of the way. And Wilf Butler, well, he's had 2 wins so far this season and 6 podiums, but the thing is, he wants to try and make it a 3rd win and be on parity with Salvador, who is the leading winner so far this season after what is 5 rounds of the, in fact, what is it, 8 rounds of the championship, I should say. Let's get my numbers correct. But Silverstone goes defensive there. Well, now it's definitely the 110 and the 70 going all in for victory, and we've still got the best part of 10 minutes to go. We haven't even cleared 5 minutes, and to push each other onwards and roaring the way through right now. Well, as close as they dream to there to be to do so, they'll absolutely go all on to the next lap, thinking, okay, well, where have I got to go defensive? Where have I got to go offensive? But for a lot of these drivers as well, given it's their first racing series in a closed cockpit car and closed wheel car, it's about them learning as well at the race car. They've got to learn how to defend, how to attack. It's very different from karting. They've also got to learn how to manage a car which is going to eat up its front tyres very aggressively, and therefore you can't afford to be as aggressive over the race distance because you naturally run out of rubber. It's all things they will develop over time, well before they've even developed the right to own a road driving licence, albeit they'll have the road racing licences well beforehand. And as they come through turn number 2, well, Silverstone running a little bit deep there as we see Wells taking a major excursion there at turn number 3. Brings himself back on comfortably, but I can imagine he might be drawing the eye of the steward's eyes a little bit there as they make their way down the Wellington straight. But Butler firmly in the draft now as they come up towards what is turn number 3. Can he see an opportunity here? I don't think so. And in fact, he's going to go for it there. He does, trying to get a nose in. Silverstone there goes a little bit deep in the rear of the 110, steps aside, but it forces Butler now to look round the outside. But Butler's getting what he's wanted, this Wolf Butler, which is to have an opportunity here to try and put Josh Silverstone under a bit more pressure. And remember, these two currently in the championship sitting only what is 2 and 4 points respectively off of Luca Maserati, the top 3, separated by only 4 points in the championship, so therefore every place and every point is critical. But intriguingly, Wells right now, Carl Wells holding on to what is that 3rd place and not letting Maserati get any closer to him. They are sitting exactly as they have been for the last couple of laps, so I wonder if Maserati's perhaps just managing this race, perhaps hoping the race will come to him a little bit later on. As Silverstone runs wide, there's some pressure starting to build on the 110 driver. Of course, they have plenty of runoff area to use and abuse here if they can, but they can't use it too often, but therefore it does mean mistakes as not as punishing as perhaps other circuits like Thruxton that we saw last time out on what was the 3rd and 4th of May, or alternatively at Brands Hatch Indy back in April. But as the top 5 make the way through, you can see those leaders pulling away more and more. Wells now the best part of a second back as Maserati closing on him, albeit the gap between these two has pretty much stayed to the best part of 3 tenths over the last couple of laps. Leaders make the way back into our camera shot, and as they come down into that braking zone for what is turn at number 3, where it is going to be Butler looking around the outside. It's getting very tight between them, but it's also getting very tight between what is Wells and Maserati as their Butler's forced to tuck it behind. A bit of contact, there's further contact between the two, and Silverstone is made to go wide there. I think there was a tap, but Butler is going to get ahead here, so getting where's the elbows out there, touring car style, as they head up towards what will be the start finish line straight. And as they do, we get to the halfway point of this race. They are neck and neck as they come across the line here, and it is going to be Butler, who I believe is just ahead by a slight nose. There's nothing between them. I think it was 600s. They can cut it finer if they wanted to, but I don't think they're going to be able to right now. They go too wide into turn 1. It's going to be a cutback for Silverstone. He goes for it, finds the dirt on the apex, but it's a lovely cutback there as they head up towards turn number 2. Butler now on the outside. Wells and Maserati have been brought right back into this battle, and Smith is being brought with them. And Wells, they come down to the braking zone here, too wide they go. But look at this, Wells comes all the way in under braking and gives Silverstone a little push and says, no, I want you to go a little bit forward, please. So I want to get a bit in on this. And as they come through here, well, Maserati and Smith just watching from behind right now. Keep in mind, of course, that Ollie Smith is your leading rookie, and he's your 2nd place independent coming into what is this round, with Oliver Kerr just ahead in the Independence Championship. But here they go then down to the braking zone for turn number 3, and well, it's going to be 1 and 2 as they come on towards that left hand in terms of the number of cars side by side. And well, it does look as though Silverstone has been able to get back ahead, albeit here it's going to be a staggered 2 wide between what is Butler and Wells. And well, it looks as though Wells has been able to sneak his way through into 2nd place up the inside into Luffield Bend. Wells just making his way forward, meanwhile Butler losing 2 places that he gained at the start of the lap. We're going on to the start finish straight then. Well, now it's going to be the opportunity for Butler to try and come back here, as he's going to be giving Wells a push down the start finish straight for a brief moment, and then pulls out to the inside. Albeit these sections are so small as well, the fact they can go 2-3 wide and still make the corners absolutely happy. Well, roaring the way on through right now. A little bit of run wide there from what will be Wells, but he'll get away with that one, given the fact he just tripped slightly wide on towards what will be at turn number 2 they go. And onto that braking, well, they'll come into the shot there, and now it's back to a line of stern for the moment. Smith just watching behind, but I think Smith's got his eye eyes on the prize, which is to take what will be that 5th place. That'll be worth a lot of points, and also for him, that'll be the independent and also the rookie win, especially given the fact that we do have Kerr all the way down in 17th place, a lap down after the car was crawling early on, and I'm not quite sure what's happened to Kerr's car. In fact, it's multiple laps down there. I think Kerr's car's had to make its way to the pit lane for repair work, or something's gone wrong on it. We'll try and give you an update when we can. But meanwhile, as we continue to focus on the leaders here, as they roar the way through what is turn 3 into 4, well, right now, Silverstone just holding on for now. Wells is there, Butler with him, but you can see these three, they're literally pushing each other along here, and well, as they come out of the corner now with 5 minutes left of the clock, a bit of a drift wide there for a brief moment from what is Butler, deciding to see whether the sand's nice out there and recognise the fact all it does is slow you down. We're coming up towards what with that time line, 5 minutes on the clock then, and with an average lap time of our leaders of what is a 1:13, you would imagine doing the quick mathematics, we are going to be seeing, well, we 4 more laps. We may squeeze a 5th extra lap in, albeit it's going to be very tight. It'll come down to how much the pace stays with these drivers as they make their way through, and I can imagine that their front tyres right now will definitely be quite hot. And with that heat on the front tyres, now it's going to be about who can manage those fronts as much as possible all the way to the end. If they don't manage them, you could suddenly see a driver plummet off the proverbial tyre cliff in terms of lap time. But Silverstone right now keeping these drivers all together with him as they come on around. And onto what will be the Wellington straight they go, and there's nothing between them at the moment. It's 2 tenths by 2 tenths by 2 tenths between all of them. And well, with the top weights 5 separated by effectively what is 1.5 seconds, because Smith has fallen a bit further back. Well, right now, roaring the way through. Nobody wants to make a move at this time. I think they're all right now trying to gauge when's the best time to make a move here. Can they get an opportunity to do so? Well, we'll have to see as they slide the way on around and out of the corner they'll roar. But as they do, we can see Wells are just getting a little bit closer to Silverstone. Gets a better exit out of Luffield. That seems to be the strength of Wells. He gets better exit out of what is the final 2 major corners. Silverstone, I mean, are stronger in the opening 2 corners of the lap. You add it all together and they cancel each other out here. But of course, the one thing that Wells does have that Silverstone does not have is the draft off the back of the leading Saxo. And as they come in towards where it's turn number 1, through that right-hander, well, coming all the way on around here. Any change this time? And the answer is no. It's pack racing at its finest here, as we do see Maserati running a little bit wide there. He's just not been quite on the pace, being able to stay as close as he would like to be, and therefore he's just going to have to watch it and wait and see if there's an opportunity. But again, the advice that might have been whispered in his ear by his family or his parents, and indeed all these drivers will have mums and dads watching, indeed family members coming along, and I can imagine all the family members right now will be loving seeing this racing, but the one thing that will be on their minds, they always want to see their children's son or daughter make it to that checkered flag. It's understandable there, but a lot of family pride on the line right now, and all very eager to see who's going to take this victory. But Silverstone makes it to our dad's that braking zone. Well, again, just doing enough to make sure that Wells can't get side by side here. But you can imagine if Silverstone makes one small mistake, it is going to be a situation whereby we'll see Wells and Butler look to pound like a pack of absolute piranhas. But through the right hand and up towards what will be turn number 1, roaring the way on around, and well, it is still close all the way to the finish here for a little bit more. But of course, just to remind you, it does say this is the Brands Hatch race because this is the rescheduled or the abandoned Brands Hatch race from what was round number 6 of the championship, because of the British Truck Racing Championship having an incident that cancelled this race. But we've been able to squeeze it into the schedule today, so you are getting a bumper packed race action of 4 races this weekend for the Junior Saloon Car Championship. And well, that action now is starting to be expedited upwards once again here as they make the way through it down towards what will be turn number 2 they go this time. And well, we can see that Smith is getting a bit closer, but not close enough in order to be really involved with Maserati. But it does look as though Maserati and Smith are falling away from this battle. I don't think they've got the tyre life anymore in order to be able to stay there with this top 3. So this top 3 are gradually pulling away, but with 2 minutes left and what will be this lap plus potentially 1 more lap. Well, potentially, well, it might be 2 more laps depending on how quickly they get on around. Well, we can see right now, I think Silverstone and Wells have got the tyre life to keep in the hunt. Butler's falling back a little bit further, but I wonder if Butler's potentially just deciding to watch, wait and listen until that final lap, just because he may find that the 2 leaders get stuck on each other and he can pick up both places for the price of 1. But coming out of the corner, well, Wells was close again. The standard, he gets the better run out of Luffield, but is he going to be able to think about it? As we do see the bonnet briefly pitch up there, hopefully that's not going to come flying upwards. I don't know if anybody else saw that very closely. The bonnet just slightly vibrating upwards there on Wells' car. I'm sure that's just where he's had some brief taps on the back of Silverstone's rear, but coming in towards towards what is the opening corner then. Well, 1 minute 15 left on the clock by the time they go into Croft, so presuming they don't fight too hard on this lap, we will be getting 2 more laps in. It literally will be by a second or two, but further back down the order, we've also got a good little battle going on here, as that is the younger member of the Algar family, that is Tom Algar, racing along here, and he's been looking forward to the race all weekend. He was telling me earlier on, albeit the track limits being very strict, he chases after Leonard, and well, we'll talk a bit more about him another time, because we come back to leaders right now, 50 seconds left on the clock. And I don't know if Josh Silverstone realises this, but if he does end up battling, he will reduce this race to what will be only 1 lap remaining, the lap they're on. But if he doesn't battle and keeps up this pace, they will squeeze in 1 more lap, I do believe. It's literally going to be a very minor margin from which we will squeeze in what will be potentially a 13th lap here. Given we've done 11, we're on lap number 12 and covered on around. Well, right now, the 110 driver making his way on through here. I think we are going to squeeze an extra lap. 20 seconds left on the clock as they come out of left field corner. I think they will just get there, unless it does get called, given how marginal it is. But I think we are going 1 more time, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, as we do, it's 1 more lap to go then. 10 seconds left on the clock. They have been able to squeeze it in. It's Josh Silverstone in lead. He's got Will, what is behind him there, that is going to be Kyle Wells. The 7th place man in the championship is actually roaring high, and then it is going to be your 3rd place driver, Wilf Butler. They're all fighting for what will be the podium places, but will they do a bit of a shuffling before it's over? And in 4th, watching on at a distance, is championship leader Luca Maserati, who may end up breaking what is his run of podium since the start of the season. But will that be the case? Well, here comes Wells, then he gets a lot closer this time. A brief dip of a tyre onto what is the grass there. They all run a bit wide. Maserati, meanwhile, just watching there, stays at his racing line. Down what is the Wellington Straight they go then. 2 more corners plus the curve of Woodcock to complete the lap. And as they come on down, where it's going to be right now a very close 1, 2 and 3. Nobody coming off that racing line. They all want to be in the draft, but will we see a potential move from anybody? They're all thinking about it here. You see Butler in the end getting much closer to the back of Wells. Silverstone runs out a little bit wide, but that guarantees him the inside line into Luffield Bend. He won't be upset about that. So all he's got to do now is park the car on the apex and drag it out the corner, and he does exactly that, as Wells, absolutely glued to the back, will push him all the way to the finish. But it does mean, ladies and gentlemen, as they come on through what will be the final corner, the checkered flag will wave, and it will be the Lightning McQueen machine of what will be Josh Silverstone, who takes victory in the rescheduled round number 6 of the championship ahead of Wells, followed by Butler. Maserati will finish 4th, ending his run of podium finishes since the start of the season. Smith will come on home, and that will be none other than Ollie Smith to take rookie and independent honours, I do believe. It will then be Max Scharfegger, who's moved all the way out to 6th place, Standard in 7th, Wright in 8th, and then Austin and Swatton completing your top 10, with Holly best of the rest in 11th, and then we will see what is Wood in 12th, Powell in 13th, and I believe that will be one of the 2 members of the Powell family, and that will be Sherry and Powell ahead of what will be Tom Algar, albeit between them it will be Leonard, and then it will be Lexi Powell, and finally after that the retirement, unfortunately, of what will be Kerr that completes the order. But goodness me, ladies and gentlemen, what a race, and here are those race results brought up on the screen, subject to any stewards' inquiries. And as we can see, Josh Silverstone, he had the pressure on him all the way for the opening stages. Lost the lead, in fact, in the runs to turn number 1, but he got it back and then he never let it go. But he took victory over Kyle Wells by what was 2.5 attempts there. Wilf Butler was in 3rd place, and what a run from the trio there. Absolutely as close as possible. Luca Maserati, meanwhile, a little bit further back, but still within a second of the race winner. But Maserati's run at podiums comes to a close, and this will shuffle what will be the top 3 in the championship around and bring them even closer together. Ollie Smith taking rookie and independence honours ahead of Max Scharfegger, and then we do see Lewis Standard, Martin Wright, Lewis Austin and Matthew Swatton complete your top 10. Leon Holly, best of the rest in 11th ahead of Joe Wood, and Sherry Ann Powell holding on to 13th place, the best part 4 seconds clear of Timothy Leonard, and the fastest lap being set by what was Butler, and that was Wilf Butler who took the fastest lap on lap number 3 at 1:13.23, but the lap times between all of our drivers at the front never dipped out of the 13s all the way through the race. They made it last, and they absolutely enjoyed it out there. But goodness me, what a race, ladies and gentlemen, a phenomenal one at that. And well, we will be getting some words with our young drivers very shortly, but just to remind you, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Junior Saloon Car Championship. All the drivers you have seen today in this between 14 and 17 years of age, and this is their first step from karting into car racing, and what brilliant racing. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do, because the racing concludes as of today for this Saturday, but we've still got plenty of racing to come tomorrow on Sunday the 18th of May for the TCR UK Racing Weekend. And well, we do see there is one part of the schedule, but to walk you through that, and it is as follows. We started off tomorrow quite promptly at 9:25, the Junior Saloon Car Championship actually kicking off their races that were scheduled for this weekend, the Silverstone races, as they'll be having rounds 10, 11 and 12 of their championship. The Miltech Civic Cup will follow, and then you'll have the Mini Challenge Cup Sport with what is AirTech Motorsport. We'll have TCR UK after that for round number 2 of their racing this weekend. The Junior Saloon Car Championship will then return, and it'll be at the CRCC Formula Libre back out on the circuit. Well, in fact, that'll be their first time out of the circuit after their qualifying. Track Action Racing Club will return to the racing at 1:05, and well, into that afternoon we'll have more TCR UK action and Mini Challenge Club Sport. That'll be their third round of the championship there. It's going to be an absolutely hectic afternoon, as much as it'll be a hectic morning on that Sunday. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to make our way down to Park Ferme and over to Jack Oliphant for interviews with our race winners from the JSCC.
Thank you very much, Paul. It is an absolutely stacked schedule that we've got tomorrow on the Sunday here at Silverstone. But the racing is finished, but the interviews are not done just yet. Let's have a chat to a couple of the drivers that have provided some of the best action that we've seen here at Silverstone all day. And I'm proud to say, there we go, that Hollywood royalty is among us, because Lightning McQueen is with us as Ben's looking at the wrong one, but still, it's this one here. He just realised. Anyway, let's get Josh Salvadore's sort of take on what on earth was going on in that race, because I have to say, I thought the other drivers were biding their time, but he played his car absolutely bang on perfectly. Josh, by all means, you can take your helmet off if you want. It might be a bit easier to talk to us, to have a chat to us while we're doing that. The track commentary are taking care of Butler at the moment. That's Will Butler, who of course came third, and we've got Kyle Wells here. He's still got his helmet on. Josh, come over now. It's a bit easier to talk to the camera when you've not got your helmet on, isn't it? Even if you've got a helmet here. But I have to say, actually, you've done pretty well to make it look good. Josh, that was a good-looking race as well. My goodness, I thought you were going to maybe fall down to 4th or 5th on that final lap. I thought they were biding their time, but you put your car perfectly where you needed to be. Yeah,
it was really tough. They gave a really good run for money, but yeah, just really tried hard to, try and keep in front of Carl. He was doing really good, catching me. But yeah, just threw everything at it and tried to be as good as I could.
I noticed when you got out of the car, even with your helmet on, you had a beaming smile on your face there. Does that mean a lot to you to get that race win here at Silverstone and start the weekend off strong?
Yeah, it means a lot, just to get a win anyway, but a prestigious track like this, Silverstone, it's something else.
Nah, fantastic. Congratulations on a massive race victory there. Josh, I'm going to have a chat to a couple of the other drivers, so we'll chat to you, I'm sure, tomorrow. Right, well, I'm going to try and get Will Butler in. Come in, Will. That was hard. I thought you were in the middle of a really tight battle there, weren't you? And it's one of those classic motorsport cliches. If you attack, you might be left vulnerable behind. Was that in your head going through those last couple of laps?
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the race, I was trying to work together with Josh to put a nice gap, which we did. But then, yeah, as soon as we started fighting, Kyle just caught up, and yeah, I got stuck behind really, because them two were towing each other along. Yeah,
I was going to say, you did really put on a strong performance right at the beginning, but Silverstone is one of those tracks where you can attack, you can go too wide, but as soon as you do, that momentum's gone, isn't it? And all of a sudden, you're susceptible to the people behind.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you go for a move around here, no matter the gap you've got, it narrows really quickly. So, yeah, Kyle just got better of that and caught up and got past.
Anything you want to be taking into tomorrow then in the second race, straight in the morning? It's going to be probably a little bit cooler than it is today. Any setup changes you might ever think about?
Yeah, we'll definitely have a think of some setup changes. Obviously, cooler weather. Maybe try and get a little bit more front, but yeah, just see how it goes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the 3rd place. And finally, I want to talk to you, because it is the end of the day, Kyle Wells. We have the time. Where's Kyle Wells? Is he? Oh, there we go. That's it. Looking right at him. Kyle, again, that was a really, really strong race from you. I thought you were going to have a little lunge into the race lead there, but did you really feel like you were biding your time but couldn't quite get there on that last lap?
I think I was just trying to play it safe as much as I can. I mean, a P2 is better than the DNF, and I'm speechless with what I got. I just want to thank Team Vina for everything I've done, and yeah.
Very mature way of thinking about it, to be honest, a championship way of thinking about it. We've got actually quite an audience here, Ben. I don't know if you can pan over. He's got quite a few people watching here, supporters for Wells. It's fantastic to see, and that support really makes a podium feel extra special, doesn't it?
Very special, yeah. I'm really happy and for everyone for supporting me. I don't know what I could do without them.
No, that's brilliant. Well done for the second place, and you never know, we might be having a chat tomorrow one step higher. Right, okay, that is the Junior Saloon Car Championship. That's not only them finished for the day, it is everyone finished for the day. But if you are a fan of the JSCC, don't worry, because tomorrow we open the show with it. That's right, we are live Sunday here at Silverstone at 9:25, I believe that is, for the second race of the Junior Saloon Car Championship. We've still got TCR UK, we've still got Miltech Civic Cup here, we've got Libres, we've got loads of cars, loads of action. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today, please, by all means, come back. Get yourself tuned in on YouTube for about 9:15. Get a cup of tea. It's going to be a great day's racing. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.